Okay, so we're gonna try this setup for this episode because if you are a subscriber from like, I think the last time I recorded in here was if you were here when I did game reviews, movie reviews, and when I was predicting um, football games and stuff like that. I did that for like 1 or 2 weeks. I recorded in here. If you were a subscriber from back then, yes, you know this setup, you recognize it. Um, yeah, but if you're a new subscriber, then this is the setup I used to record in. But if this completely flops, then we're going back to the old setup. Just trying to figure out my best chances of maximizing subscribers, as we need to do that before you make fun of me for wearing like a dress-up shirt. It's Easter, so I should have changed my shirt. And we're doing an NBA video. I'm wearing a Colts hat. Also, full disclosure, this area right here with all the pink and the horses and stuff, this area in the house, it's dubbed this name by my parents. I did not create this name. It is called the playroom. You see that side? That's my younger sister's side. See, my side is filled with all of that good stuff, Flip the camera real quick. You got basketball cards, Rip Kobe, I know, 79. It's actually 78. Sorry, I need to fix that. Some of my sister's, like, old gaming stuff. But, we got some Transformers, because that's my childhood, See, that's my side. And the camera goes right here. Frick. Got all those classic gaming systems. You're an original subscriber, man. You remember the days. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video. Be right back. Get an NBA hat and a normal t-shirt. Be right back. Here's the hat. I'm out of frame because I don't have a shirt on. I'm getting a shirt on. You got that Doug McDermott, Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis autographed hat. I'm pretty sure I've already said that multiple times in multiple videos. But, yeah. Just gotta remind. It's like a humble brag, Yeah, I met Doug McDermott, Malcolm Brogdon, and NBA All-Star, Domantas Sabonis. I actually met Domantas multiple times. But that can be a different video of all the Pacers basketball players I've met. So yeah, let's get into the video. We're already at the 3-minute mark. This might have to be broken up into 2 parts like my last video. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Am I like a retarded T-Rex here? Okay. The NBA's biggest problem. You probably clicked on it, wanting that. I might put a timestamp in the description when we get to that. If you've watched through all that, then thank you. So yeah, the NBA's biggest problem, in short, is it's become too much of a corporate entity. And what I mean by that is it's become too much of a company-oriented league. And I'll elaborate on that. What I mean by that, and yes, I know it is a company. Yes, I know it needs to make money. But really what its biggest problem is it is disconnecting with fans a lot. And basically what I mean by that is games are getting rigged and they're only satisfying the teams that make them the most money and the players that make them the most money. Even though once that team gets bad, that fan base isn't going to be loyal anymore. A lot of times the fan base isn't going to be loyal anymore. And once if that player ever dips, nobody's going to like that player. And really not as many people are going to like that player anymore. The NBA just supports whatever team is hot at the moment or whatever team has their best player. So, And we all know that. I mean, we watched the Warriors a couple years ago where they get every single call. You know, LeBron gets every single call. Giannis hasn't gotten there quite yet, but he's well on his way to getting a lot of calls. And if you watched this channel before, you know that I don't like NBA refs. I hate them. I just straight up hate them. I've never liked them. Now, I'm sure they're good people in real life, don't get me wrong. I just mean on the court. I hate them. And before you give me that bullcrap, oh, you need to stop blaming things on the ref. You know, it's your team's fault that you're bad. To those people that tell me that in the comments, you've blamed your loss on refs before, either it being rightfully so or not. You've still done it before, so you can't be a hypocrite and say that I can't blame the refs. And which, yes, the refs do mess up a lot, and I feel like, I strongly believe this, and I know you're just going to be like, well, conspiracy theorist alert, he's a crazy person. I feel like in the NBA just doesn't like its smaller market teams. Even if they have a really loyal fan base, NBA doesn't like their smaller market teams. You know, any team on the West Coast, you know, all those big market teams, yes, give them calls unless they're doing bad. New York Knicks, give them calls unless they're doing bad. Florida teams, them calls unless they're doing bad. If you're in the Midwest, you're screwed. Teams from out of the country, Raptors, when they're doing good, got the green light refs. Give them all the calls. And that's the NBA's biggest problem. They focus too much, and again, I know they have to make money, but they really have to maximize it like that? Why can't basketball be basketball? Just for the pure sake of the game. It's idiotic. We give players calls, you know, we let them do things just because they're good. I feel like teams should be rewarded based on their play, not just based on one player. Because let's face it, the Lakers, for example, when LeBron's injured, trash. Well, actually, wait. When LeBron and Anthony Davis are injured, trash. Can't win a game. Aren't very good. But I'm going to use my Pacers as an example, and I know you're going to say, well, you used injuries as an excuse before. Well, I'm not saying that the Pacers don't get slowed down by injuries at all. I'm just saying they have a lot of depth in their bench. And also, if you'll go back and, actually look at my arguments, really I say that the leadership is lost and stuff like that. But it's a topic for another time. I'm just going to say, no, okay. See, when Anthony Davis and LeBron are injured, the Lakers suck. Victor Oladipo, Domas are injured, or Domas and Brogdon are injured. The Pacers have a better way of dealing with it than the Lakers. Take the top two players from the Lakers and the Pacers. Oladipo, Domas. LeBron, AD. Take them out. Compare the benches together. I guarantee you the Pacers have a better bench and a better lineup when Domas and Vic are gone than when LeBron and Anthony Davis are gone. So therefore, they should be the better team because they have depth. They've built their team. They have done a good job of building their team. They've had good play. The Pacers, before Oladipo were injured, they were a 3 seed. A 3 seed. Nobody acknowledged it. LeBron, freaking team is a 5th seed. NBA champions. I know you could just say, well, you're just mad because your team hasn't won anything yet. And I guess you could say that plays a role. But the reason my team hasn't won anything yet is one, they would have won something in the 90s if Jordan wasn't in the East. In that 2000 finals, I didn't watch that, so that was before my time. So I can't really say if there were any bad calls for that, but I do know that if you take Jordan out of the equation, then take prime Pacers, take the Pacers when they were at their top. And I had Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Dale Davis, Mark Jackson, what's the other Davis? There was a Dale Davis or someone else. He was really good. Or take the Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Jalen Rose tandem. Or the 2004 Pacers. So, before you're like, well, your team was never good. No, we had multiple opportunities, and either we screwed it up, there was a better player, or I can't really justify us losing in the finals because I wasn't there to watch it. So I can't tell if there was unfair calls or not, or who messed up when, or anything like that. But what I can tell you is that the NBA was more pure in the 80s, 70s, 90s. It was more of a pure game. Players played it. Okay, but I need to rephrase that. They played it without flopping. They played it without, most of them played it without being drama queens. There weren't really bad calls. There were a few bad calls, but there weren't as many as there are today. Where's the camera that way? Okay. I think. There you go. That way I can look at you guys. They played. Back then, they played it for the love of the game. They didn't play it to make money. There weren't as many snakes. But now the NBA, most of the players just want to get paid, which I understand, getting paid because as an NBA player, you got to secure enough money for when you're retired and stuff. I get that, but I mean the stars who are already making truckloads of money. Them leaving just because a team pays a couple million less. Or them leaving just because their team's bad. Players didn't really do that in the 90s or 80s. They played it for the love of the game, and they played it trying to get their team to the top. Really weren't as many snakes. But now, refs are missing calls just because a team doesn't make as much money as another team. Missing calls just because one player is better than another player. And it's dumb. And I think that's the NBA's biggest problem. Because we as fans, we should be able to know that the best team is going to win on any given night. Now, I know sometimes there are going to be upsets. But I mean upsets, pure upsets. Not any referee interference. No injustices. There are like a couple calls. I mean, like when the Pacers faced the Hornets, they only shot 7 free throws. Whenever we face a big market team, we always shoot less free throws than they do. What's up with that? Pacers vs. Cavs series, 2018. Even in the games we won, I'm pretty sure in most of those games, it was a 7-game series. That was back when we had Lance on the team and stuff. At 2018 first round series, the Cavs shot more free throws than the Pacers, and in a lot of them by a wider margin. Also, side rant, that kid who was and they showed this clip a lot, and people are like, well, this kid's a legend for it, who called LeBron's game winner in that game. What people fail to remember is I remember a certain goaltending call going uncalled on a certain Victor Oladipo, and LeBron was the one who goaltended. That didn't get called. And before you're like, well, that's only a 2-point lead, and LeBron hit a three, you do know that basketball is a game of momentum. Much like football, momentum plays a big role in that game, especially in clutch situations, even for someone like LeBron and also the rest of his team. When the Cavs inbound that ball, they're in there with a different mindset, and the Pacers are there in a different mindset. The Pacers are in there with the mindset of, okay, come on, we got to win this. We have the lead. We just need to play good defense. Before, they were like, frick. Oh, crap. Goaltending. That was goaltending, but the ref didn't call it. But now, if that goaltending call goes, they're all hyped up, they're all excited, they're running on adrenaline, and they are ready to go. The Cavs, in the new mindset where that goaltending call gets called, LeBron's kind of stressed out. Maybe not, maybe a little bit stressed out. Rest of his team, because he still had guys like Clarkson, he had Larry Nance Jr., guys that hadn't even been really in a situation like that before in a playoff game. As far as I know, I don't think they were over there. No, because the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Like, they hadn't really been in that situation before. They're stressed out, so they might mess up. They're afraid they might mess up. And the Pacers, so they're in that mindset. And then before, they were all like, yes, let's go. It's a tie game. We can win this even with a 2. We can win this just with 1 point, and it's over. See, the mindsets are completely different. So I'm betting most of my money on the Pacers winning that game. And then since the Cavs only won by 1 game, Pacers win that series. Now, if we go off the basic rule of, whoever the Cavs beat, we beat, and then whoever the Cavs lose to, we beat, by that logic, we would be NBA champions that year. But I don't think that would happen. I think we'd probably make it to the Eastern Conference Finals that season. So we just got robbed out of an Eastern Conference Finals run, a pretty good run, all because the refs love LeBron. And the NBA loves LeBron. And the NBA doesn't like Victor Oladipo. It's an unfair game. If a player works hard, proves all of his doubters wrong, and does that multiple times, he's still not rewarded by the league at all with any calls. And the game's not played purely. A guy like LeBron, not saying he hasn't worked hard to stay where he's at, but I'm willing to say that Victor Oladipo has worked harder than LeBron in these past few seasons. So shouldn't Oladipo and the Pacers, who have also equally worked as hard, because they had a lot of guys that we brought onto that team and they started balling out. So that team as a whole worked really hard to be where they were at. The Cavs didn't work as hard. Team that works the hardest, team that plays the hardest, the team that deserves to win. It's a team that should win. The Cavs didn't deserve to win that series. Now, I'm not saying, we're totally against big market teams. What I am saying is, if a team has 5 All-Stars, they're going to win. But that doesn't mean they should get extra calls. And another thing, this is also kind of a side rant here. Another kind of conspiracy of mine is that, this is for Pacers fans really, the league doesn't like us. Our fans are loyal. But we don't live in a big city. Our team works hard, but we don't have any big name superstars. We have the type of stars that are more quiet, put their head down and work. And the NBA doesn't like that type of star. Nope. NBA doesn't want to see teams like the Lakers or Celtics or any LeBron team. They don't want to see any LeBron team or any, big name team. They don't want to see that team get beaten by a team coming out of Indiana. Just because maybe they think it would be an embarrassment. Because that's another possibility. Maybe I just feel this way just because my team always gets cheated out of calls all the time. I'm sure if your team gets cheated out of calls all the time, you feel the same about this. And there are going to be plenty of LeBron fans who deny and just hate on me for this video. But yeah, in short, to end this video, NBA's biggest problem is cheating teams out of wins. Just because they don't make the league as much money. See you guys next time, where I talk about whatever I want. Just depends on how I'm feeling that day. See you guys later.